Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Paul Barresi and what he actually put out on Twitter last night. I didn't know anything of this, until this morning, and it's blown my mind to see that Paul Barresi and Johnny Depp, they were actually involved in a little campaign by some very well-known ex-police officers of the LAPD, the ones who inspired the film Training Day, inspired the TV series The Shield, and with Vic Mackey and all of them, and the corruption that they did. You know, the Rampart scandal where they literally, the crash team, or the crash unit as they called them, where they were planting evidence, they were just going around doing gangland hits. They were doing everything for these people. But first, before we do get into this, ladies and gents, I do want to just let you know, I do have a brand new channel, which I've done. Come geek some clips. If a video's too long, I'm going to put like little snippets on there. So anywhere from 1 minute or a couple of seconds up to 5 minutes. That's where I'll be going. I will leave a link to this website, the channel down below for you. But now, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Barresi. I saw this morning, and I was actually really surprised to see it. So, criminal complaint filed against Johnny Depp and Paul Barresi. A.H. Simps was celebrating about it. Dropped by Lancaster, South Carolina sheriff. And this is what the sheriff had to say. Faceless, without merit, never should have been taken, lead detective Mike Miller stated. So we have this by here. So, as you can see, the two suspects they got on there, Paul Barresi and Johnny Depp. And if you look at these names, Richard John Albertini, Aaron Scott McKinney, and Palomares Rubin. Now, we do have a letter as well, an email that Paul sent to the police, which we are going to go over here. So, here we go. Lancaster Sheriff Department, conclusion of this complaint lodged against Johnny Depp and Paul Barresi, thrown out, which is amazing to see and amazing to hear. September 29th, so yesterday, Lancaster Sheriff Department, attention of Sheriff Barry Fail and Captain Mike Miller, Lancaster, South Carolina. So, dear Sheriff Fail and Captain Miller, thank you both for taking the time from your busy schedules fighting real crime to personally speak with me earlier this week regarding the false complaint of this filed against Johnny Depp and me. On behalf of Johnny Depp, his general counsel, Adam Waldman, and myself, we are grateful for your speedy arrival to the conclusion that the false complaint filed by Elder Richie Albertini, Aaron McKinney, and the most disgraced former police officer in LA Police Department history, Ruben Palomares, was determined to be without fact or basis, and therefore, in Captain Miller's words, was squashed. Now, like I was saying, Rampart, this is what Ruben Palomares was, and we do have that by here. So this is the guy. He was the LAPD. He's a former officer. And, he was a dirty cop and he did so much stuff. Rafael Perez, the cop who turned into a gangster. Again, he wanted to be one, but he just couldn't do it. But this is Ruben Palomares. So this guy, as you can see, he literally did all stuff that was absolutely dreadful. Everything that this guy did, he was just like, I'm going to be a gangster. I want to be one of them. And it didn't happen. It literally destroyed his career and good. So the guy shouldn't have been doing this. So, as I stated, the third party named as a suspect in the now dismissed complaint, this name not even worth mentioning, was someone I asked to do me the harmless favour of providing Adam Waldman with all the names of the dozens of fake Twitter accounts set up by widely known career cyber Richard Albertini. Because I was new to Twitter and still trying to understand how posting tweets worked, I also asked this person whom I thought I could trust to post several innocuous findings I uncovered during my investigation on the Johnny Depp AH matter, like for example, historical documents from Johnny's childhood. In the process, I made the mistake of entrusting this snake in the mud with other files, which he absolutely knew were not intended for public consumption. But he posted them anyway and provided my confidential files to AH fanatics. His betrayal garnered praise for himself among her devotees. However, at the expense of casting a veil of shadow of Johnny Depp and I, making us the subject of unwanted scandal. To make matters worse, while caught in the grip of his own irresistible delusions, the guy who I thought I could trust then reached out to several members of the media. Why do they all do this? You know, the ones who literally, mostly on her side, the ones who get dirt or whatever, I'm going to go to the headlines, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's absolutely mind-blowing that they think they can get away with certain things this day and age. Going on, so he does say that falsely holding himself out to be an important player in the Johnny Depp v. AH saga, in possession of what he defined as the materials that will not only serve as a headline, but make him an important witness. Well, never admitted, of course, that the so-called materials were my personal, confidential files which he stole from me. Crazy as hell. His double-crossing, bad faith act only served to stir up AH fanatics and hand Albertini, McKinney and Palomares more juice to continue their baseless, insane accusations, attacks and campaigns of this on Johnny and me, as far as South Carolina. Hence the nature of the beast in the lowest of human form that slithers in my world as an entertainment attorney investigator. Thank you again for recognizing a sham when you see it and for quickly dropping this, as Captain Miller put it, no nothing complaint. Very truly yours, Paul Barresi. Now, obviously with all of this, it's absolutely mind-blowing that they thought they could get away with everything and be just like, guess what we're doing? And it's just like, you are literally putting yourself out there now just to get absolutely hammered. Because obviously with Paul Barresi, like you said, you know, an investigator, he'll probably continue this now and he'll probably go after that guy, because I know I would. I'd try and find dirt on him, even more dirt than what is currently happening. But if you just go back over to his Twitter, you know, Johnny keeps winning, truth and good always prevail over pure evil. Then you got Christina, which is 100%. They should charge those making the false reports. Then you got Living Dead Girl, 100%. And Albertini has been the one making these false reports. He did it to Tug. Swedish Fish literally has a video on her channel of Richie Albertini ringing police, making a false report on Tug. It's disgusting, really. Because like we were talking with Tug yesterday, the people who are making these false claims, the ones who are sending out these emergency workers to places that they don't need to go, that is taking resources away from an actual crime that is happening. Something deadly could have been happening where the worker who went and saw Tug could have been to prevent something, you know? Same as this with the police officers who got involved. People making false reports. Oh, this is happening, maybe you should look into this. Oh, okay. Then they go off and they start looking into it or whatever. But then, those officers, for all we know, something could have been happening literally down the road from the police station that they're based at, where they could have saved lives. You know, it's just so many things. And as you can see, we just keep going down now. Sorry you had to put up with this garbage. Glad it was resolved. Paul came back with, oh, believe me, it never ends. Thanks for the support. The attacks go with the territory. Keeps me on my toes and keeps me young. But then, I saw one by here, which you got by here now, you know, the media still believes in her. Everything points to her every single time. It never ends, which it does. It always ends with her being the top dog of most of these things that are happening. But I did see one thing, though, which I was kind of like, oh, right, okay, is this here? So Pamela the Whistlewhite, whatever, it'll never top this one, no. Psychologists who testified for her received so many of these that Homeland Security intervened. And I was like, why would Homeland Security get involved? First of all, as you look, it is an OK Magazine article. So I decided to go look. Homeland Security websites, you know, Secretary of Homeland Security, and this is what they do. They go in, you know, sworn in February, whatever. Secretary of Homeland leads the third largest department in the US government with a workforce of all of these. But then into here, Department of Homeland Security is responsible for counter this. Cyber security, which is not receiving what this therapist or psychologist received, because that is not cyber security. Cyber security is about hacking and everything else. Aviation, border, port, maritime, administration and enforcement of our immigration laws, protection of our national leaders, protection of critical infrastructure, cybersecurity, again, that is the same thing, detection and protection against chemical, biological, and this to the homeland and response to disasters. Yeah, Homeland Security wouldn't just jump in and, just go to a normal person who's received something online. No. It doesn't work like that. And I've just shown you there from the actual Department of Homeland Security's website. They don't do that. So again, that's what makes me laugh when you see this headline, Oh my God, Homeland Security got involved. No, they didn't. It would have been the normal police and maybe the FBI. That's what it would have been. Not Homeland Security. And it's kind of interesting, but again, Kaplan. I wonder if they're all related. But then you got Christine, who actually says is right. It's not a competition. Both things are wrong and against the law, 100%. But when you get people who support AH and they're coming, this will never top this one, my friend. And it's like, what? It's like, it's got nothing to do with any of it, But then you got JD isn't even in the States, exactly. But remember, this happened in July that this went forward. I think it's disgusting that time wasters are harassing good people. It's utterly ridiculous. The authorities are more important fish to fry. No crimes have been committed. No lawbreakers covering and speaking about the truth sees and continues to see. Unnecessary harassment, which it is. 100% it is. It's very unnecessary. And you go, is this what the rest of his life will be like? This is sickening. Why can't they leave him alone and move on? Why aren't they being charged with falsifying a complaint? That is very, very true, Kimbo. But again, remember, this is Paul as well. It's not just about Johnny. This is happening to Tug. We've seen Alita from Legal Bites. We've seen so many people who have been involved in all of this. For some unknown reason, well, they're all being attacked by AH fanatics in the States, which is kind of worrying that that's the only place it's happening. It's like, why would it only be there? But to me, seeing what's going on in the world at this moment in time, there's a lot more things which are more dangerous going on. But again, there's a lot. I do agree with what Kimbo's saying. They don't need to do this. They're wasting police, CPS, or whatever, all these other things. Even that Homeland thing, just to throw that in the mix. All these things, all the people who work for all these departments and governments or whatever, they're taking their time out because someone has said, well, I don't like what you're saying. That's the brunt of it. That is literally the brunt of it. I don't like what you're saying. You're telling me that my queen is not who she is. I'm going to send CPS and the police to you. Really? This is what cracks me up with it all, because this to me now shows that the ones who are doing all of this on her side, Boozy and all of these people who are involved with her now, they are nothing but a bunch of sociopathic liars. That's all they are. And I can see this happening and something very, very dangerous happening. I can see something which is going to be dreadful. I can see it coming. And then they'll probably gloat about it online because, well, that's what they do. And people like this analogy that I used yesterday, that all of AH's fanatics, they're all demon jizz, which is what they are, But that's what we got, guys, from there. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future updates. Like I said as well at the start, I do have a brand new channel, Come Geek Some Clips. The link will be below. I hope you have a lovely, lovely Friday and maybe a nice weekend, and I'll see you soon.